This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
There, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more live, obviously around the world on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple TV, over 100 platforms around the world. And as I always say, this is the special show. Why is it special? Because we're also streaming on womenontv.tv, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and mobile global network now out of New York City, which is really tight too. So the fun thing about it, you never know what's going to happen with technology, because when you're in a retrograde, anything can go wrong. So the good thing is we've had enough practice to deal with a lot of stuff. So got to start with Howard Wiggins, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, vocally Tosh, the stock Rose out of Miami, Florida. Tosh, I'll get that right one day.
Almost.
Book Bond from Niantic, Connecticut. LaJune Singleton. I think LaJune is in Maryland, if I got it correct. But the thing about this, she has an interesting history. Let's see. What is she? She's a health wellness coach. Let's see, mindset strategy, podcaster, writer, author. Let's see, releasing my trauma and what it would be, the roots of sabotage. Okay, LaJune, I had to say that all off the top of my head because there's so much stuff going on. And then all the way from Northern California, Sunrise Mountain Farms, and I love this product. And I haven't even tried it yet, but my partners liked it. Everybody who's loved it, it works instantly. I love this product. So Zoe, thank you for driving all the way down from Northern California to deliver it personally to Montague, because within 15 seconds, he tried it and he was instantly out of pain. So that's a good thing. And the one and only, I'm not even going to say her name. Who's this lady coming from Northern California with the wavy hair?
Yeah, Laura Lee Sandamino, yeah.
Hey, Laura, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's see. You guys are the furthest and you're outside. Let's start with you guys just in case until Terry comes on. All right, let's talk about Sunrise Mountains real quick. Why is this product good? Why is it health and wellness when it comes to people who have anxiety, suffer from depression, and things like that? Why is this product good?
Yeah, this is a really great product for people. We have a lot of experience growing cannabis, many years of experimentation. And it all starts with how the product is grown. So we grow our product outdoors with regenerative cultivation methods, and that we just optimize the plant's potential. And when I was making this product, I was making it really for, I wanted to have something that didn't have sugar, that was like a pure product that people could take several times a day, and they could benefit from the synergistic qualities of CBD and THC. So it's like a 2-to-1. So it's like 2 parts CBD, 1 part THC. So now THC and CBD, they work synergistically, and researchers are still figuring out how and why. And then this particular cultivar or strain has qualities that are relaxing to the nervous system and terpenes that are calming for the nervous system as well. So I was seeking a cultivar that would be highly beneficial for health and calming the nervous system, because we could all use a little more calming of the nervous system, especially coming through COVID and everything. So also it has activated cannabinoids and raw cannabinoids. And so um, there's very little research that's been done on raw cannabinoids. There's been some research, but I wanted to make a product that hit numerous cannabinoid receptors, and it's in an MCT oil base, organic MCT oil, and it's a full spectrum. So we don't use chemical processes that would uh, kind of degrade the product in any way. So it's as pure as it gets, really.
And Tosh, one of the reasons why I liked her product when I went to Recon, because I'm not that smoker. I don't do anything like that, but I look for those great products that can help my friends who are suffering from anxiety, obviously depression, any health related things like that could help them. But what I really like from her, I like what she was talking about. I like the fact that it's family run. I like the fact that they also are really, really important when it comes to regeneration soil, things like that. Also, the other things that you have on the farm. And Zoe, I know you have a background like that. We haven't met, but you met my partner Montague Pope LeBeau, and he really liked what you said about soil. Talk about that. That's important. And then LaJune, we're coming to you next.
Okay, yeah. Something that I learned a while ago that has always intrigued me is we're learning a lot more kind of popularity is talking about our gut biomes and the bacteria that we naturally have, like probiotic drinks are popular now. And that similar network is also in the soil. So the microbes and the plants have a relationship. And really, the way I kind of explain it to people sometimes is we really work on feeding the soil rather than the plants. And that way they have all of the options that they could choose from and they pick and choose and kind of um, can flourish to whatever their full potential is in all the ways that that's possible. And it's nice. We are our property where the farm is right next to a large like national forest. And there are so many indigenous microorganisms in there that already do all of that functioning for the forest ecosystem, and that's been operating for hundreds, thousands, millennia. And so we have a great resource to tap into. So yeah, it's been extremely rewarding utilizing those methods as well, because now that testing is a part of the whole atmosphere of what we do, we've been able to really quantify the difference of those growing methods, and it's definitely improved our cannabinoid production as well as terpene production. So,
Hey, and that's important. And LaJune, as you know, if you don't have great soil, you're not going to have good food, especially when it comes to health and wellness, right? Talk
Right.
about that in your book and how you started, because you were overweight at one time, right?
Right. So had a knee injury in 2011, went from 120. The weight just kept gradually going. I got to my highest weight of 193. And with that, just, changing my mindset and changing my nutrition and what I was putting in my body and being mindful of certain foods causing sensitivities, which cause inflammation in the body that can display and look like it's fat. So was able to make that transition and change. And yeah, soil is very important. What you're putting in your body, organic foods, highly recommend those things. If you want better nutrition, as of course, bananas, anything with a layer, you can definitely peel and still eat. And it won't cause any problems like onions. It has a layer to it. You can peel it. So those are, the things that help me and definitely say mindset and nutrition. The fitness aspect is just like 20%.
Talk about how your book came apart, and then Glenn, we're coming to you after this, because we have a lot of best international selling authors that come in from around the world through Hasmark. But it's interesting to see your book. I haven't read your book yet, so I'm fascinated about that.
So the book came about. I went to Bali in 2019 to a retreat. Shanoa Maxwell was the host and a facilitator, and it was life changing for me. It was about forgiveness. It was about releasing. all the things that I was holding on to and learning so much. So my book was basically like that letter of release and letter of forgiveness, and really coming to terms of all the trauma that was happening in the past was impacting my life. It was impacting my relationships. It was impacting jobs. It was impacting how I was treating myself. So once I came to terms with that and started to really let go and forgive, it was just like that forgiveness letter of, releasing my trauma and realizing this was the root of my self-sabotaging behaviors.
So, Glenn, talk about the book barn because you got cats on your book barn there with the owner, and I love it. I found it fascinating. And when I had my friend Rob Wilson, who was popping on tonight from there, had I had not gone to that, I grew up in East Lyme, Connecticut, and in Niantic. I never went to there when it was there. It came up after I left. But I found it fascinating because not only do you interesting. Not only do you appreciate what's going on with everything when it comes to coming back to normal and everything like that, it's about being in that atmosphere, in that garden type, almost like, where Zoe was talking about with the soil. Having that atmosphere with the book one, I think it's great. Talk about that.
Well, the Book Barn, basically, it's a secondhand bookshop. It's in Niantic in Connecticut. Uh, Randy White and his wife Maureen started it in 1988, basically in the basement of an old antique shop. And like Topsy, it just growed. Finally, there's now 3 separate locations, which are within a mile of each other. And yeah, very much what you were talking about. What Randy has always wanted the place to be is somewhere where people can come in and sit and relax. And, we don't hover over you and say, hey, kid, you're going to buy that comic book. It's a place where people can come and have conversations as well as browse. I mean, we figure there's probably like 350,000 books in the place now, and it's very inexpensive. The little pocket books are $1. Most of the hardcover novels are $4 or $5. Art books are 10 and 15 bucks. It used to be 50 when they were new. But again, a great deal of it, Randy wanted this place to be something for the community. People can come in and relax and be there without feeling like somebody's, as I say, hovering over them. But books are the main focus. But we have animals around. We got a couple of goats. We got a cat. Lord knows. And then I think it was right now 24 bipeds on the staff. It's nice. During the summer, we get a constant stream of people. We've had probably the best season we've ever had. We closed for about 9 weeks at the very beginning of the pandemic. And it was nice because we had messages every day from people. I did a lot of the emails from home about, were people okay? Were the animals okay? And finally, when we reopened, I think we began to know the real meaning of the phrase separation anxiety. I mean, people at that point, libraries were closed, restaurants were closed, cinemas were still closed. And people were, they were coming in a state of desperation. I have no books. I have nothing to read. I have been reduced to watching reruns of Designing Women. I'm at the end of my tether. And so, yeah, it was just great to reconnect with people. And, like many bookshops, we have the regulars who are in once or twice a week, and we have people from all over creation. It's absolutely great.
Glenn, the first thing that popped in my head when you said 350,000 books was literally the scene of Beauty and the Beast when the Beast shows the Beauty his like huge library. I just imagined that when you said that, and like that stair that goes through it. How do are there just curiosity questions? Are there like floors of like really high books? Like how is it?
Well, the main property is a 3-floor barn. And then along the property, there are 4 or 5 more smaller buildings. And then there are 2 separated shops. All of the 3 shops are basically within a mile of each other. But if you go to the website, yeah, there's a lot of books in this place. I mean, as I say, during the summer when we are busiest, we will buy 10, 12, sometimes 15,000 books a week. And enormous stuff goes in and out of the place. We have books on any topic you can think of, and probably a few you'd never dream of. So it's just this constant turnover of things coming in. And Randy, who's the owner, Chuck Howard, who's one of the senior buyers, he's been there pretty much since the beginning. Myself, I've been there for 20 years, and we were putting it together one day. We figured between the three of us, we've probably been selling books for 140, 150 years. You would think at that point we had seen everything, but no. Every day something comes in. It's like, my God, what is that? Where did that come from? Who wrote that? Who thought it was a good idea? So it's yeah, as I say, it's a constant stream of stuff, and the customers coming through. It's great. I mean, every once in a while, someone will throw us a question, and we're all standing around saying, "Gee, I don't know that," but one of the customers will come along and say, what you need to know is," and so it's like a gigantic ongoing conversation.
So Tosh, you're going there next June.
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that again?
I said you're going there next June.
Oh yes. He was telling me about going to Connecticut, and I would love to go to the book barn. Definitely, it brought my attention. I like reading books. I got into reading books in the pandemic because I needed things to do, so I picked up started reading books again, and I missed on how much I really enjoyed reading books when I was younger. I didn't do that as I grew up, so definitely would love to go visit.
I was surprised by the degree to which, since we reopened, the place has been constant. People in all the time. Sometimes, we have sometimes people have to stand out in our parking lot directing traffic because there's no place to park.
That's amazing.
There's so many people coming in and out. And yeah, I think you're not the only person that got back onto reading from the pandemic. I didn't know whether it would really have much effect at all. But we have just a constant number of people who are coming in and said they had exactly that experience. And yeah, the stream of people coming in, and it's great. It's great. And of course, because the books are so inexpensive, we have teachers who'll bring their classes in. And to see a kid realize that if he's got $1.06, he can own his own book. That's happiness. That's nirvana. You're just not going to beat that. And teachers come to the shops a lot because, of course, in so many cases, unfortunately, they're responsible for providing their own libraries for their students. So we discount them. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting. And books have become more expensive. So, but not here.
Laura, one of the things I like about the book barn is it reminds me of how you describe what your family organization is in Northern California. There for Sunrise Mountain Farms. I think I like what you guys have to offer. I haven't been there yet, but I'm going when I go up there the next couple of months. But Glenn was very, very nice to me, and so was Randy, and I like that atmosphere. So how you describe it, and what I heard from Zoe from Want to Keep Up and Go, my colleague, I like that atmosphere of that family run. Talk about that, because that's important to me. I love helping family run businesses.
Yeah, family-run business. Yeah, so I have to say that going back to Glenn and the book barn, I have so many friends that don't have kids, and they were reading so many books, and I think that's just great. That was enjoyable to listen to. Thank you. Yeah, we are a family-run business. My husband and I, we run our business. We're a cottage industry, really, and I think so. Right now, cannabis is a huge business in America. There's hemp, there's cannabis. It's like the big thing. But, we've been doing it for a while here, for a little longer than most people, I think. And it's something that we feel really passionate about. And So for us, actually, in the state of California, we can't really have our children in the cannabis farm, but we are, because under the age of 21, you can't have anyone under the age of 21 on a cannabis farm. I think hemp is probably fine. I'm not sure what the laws are with that, but yeah, I think we are just entrepreneurs like any other small business, but we have a lot more regulations and hoops to jump through for sure, because it's federally illegal, and so there's so many regulations, and there's not clear regulations. They're changing all the time. And so we also, as a small business, we don't benefit from um, other things that any other small business would. So like during the pandemic, we didn't qualify for, we couldn't get any relief with, getting PPE relief or things like that most other businesses could get. And then just being an entrepreneur, we just kind of do everything. So really, like I kind of, I used to cultivate cannabis a lot more than I do now. I kind of oversee that part. And my husband, Dave, he is the farmer. He's on the farm and he's making sure he's like quality control. And I'm doing, some bookkeeping and marketing, and I create the packaging and the website and, all the business stuff. And so, just we wear many hats. And then also, we both kind of work with compliance, and we work with many different agencies like Department of Fish and Wildlife. We have CEQA, we have our county, we have our state. There's all kinds of regulations that we need to always stay on top of. And like I said, those are changing all the time. So we're very busy.
Howard, I'm coming to you in a minute. So, LaJune, talk about this. You're actually an entrepreneur too. It's not easy doing what you did. Writing that book, being a personal trainer, isn't.
No, it's definitely a challenge because it's right now it's just me. I don't have an assistant, so I'm the one checking the emails, the calls, checking out what the promotions and things that's going on, or book signings and events and things. I do have great friends who come and assist when I have events. But it's definitely about having that mindset and staying positive and believing in your vision and your dream of what you want, of what you do. So I know I provide service and resource for so many people, women who struggle with the ideal body that they want, the ideal weight that they want to be at, and they suffer from traumas. And it's hard when you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a partner, and you're so used to putting everybody else first and you're not putting you first. And we don't, we as women, we don't really know how to put ourselves first because we've seen our moms how they operate, and our grandmom and our aunts and things like that. So I think it's definitely important that what I do, I help women find themselves, and if it's carving out a few minutes for health and wellness for yourself and self care for yourself, do that. Just stop neglecting yourself, and that's where we've been for so long.
So, Howard, tell everybody what you do because you're a stylist. You like to work out. You're out there being active in everything yourself.
Well, I can relate to LaJune because I used to be 100 pounds heavier decades ago. And I lost my weight. And I always say, look good, feel good, be happy. And I've been fat and I've been thin. I'll never go back to fat again. Because people treat you differently. It's just normal. They do. And I want to ask you, when you see advertisements now and they show heavier women in the advertisements now, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's a help or a hindrance?
I feel that, women do need to embrace who they are, even if it's for that moment of loving themselves, because we have been to a point where we haven't loved ourselves. And even at my heaviest, I didn't really look heavy. People kept saying, you look good, but I've been 120 pounds, getting up to 193. It didn't look good to me because I was used to having a certain body for years. So, I definitely say embrace who you are, but be healthy in who you are. Because I think it's a lot of misconceptions. Was talking to a client today where people see skinnier people and they assume that they're healthy. It's skinny people that's out here with diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and numerous of other health issues. Just because you're skinny and you have a high metabolism and you feel you can eat whatever you want does not make you healthy. And it's also some plus size women who are very healthy, but it's just that their metabolism doesn't operate like a normal person's metabolism.
Okay. Very good.
So Zoe,
You
talk
know,
about this.
if I
You're an
could pop in
active
for a
person.
second,
Okay,
LaJune.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, years ago when I was working at the barn, the then manager went through the diet section and we did a burn, because what we noticed was that all the diet books that were aimed at women, the picture on the front of the authors were all men. So we finally boxed up all that stuff and pitched them, and it was just like we did everything short of starting a fire with them, and it was just a great experience.
That's actually interesting, but I could see that happening too because obviously a lot of our co-hosts are in the world of fitness. None of them are here tonight, which is interesting. But I get that, and that is very very important. Lori, what do you do to stay active? Because being on that farm and what you guys are doing, you guys are working outside a lot, so you're doing all of this. I can only imagine what you guys are doing.
Oh, well, I think I used to be more active. Now I sit on my computer most of the time, honestly, but my husband's active. So, yeah. And it's working on a farm, you stay active for sure. We walk up and down hills or lifting, it's very, it's a labor job really. And, climbing ladders and being active all throughout the day. Yeah, in all kinds of weather too. So, mostly nice weather. We live in California, Northern California, so sometimes it gets hot. But yeah, we stay active and healthy when we're working on the farm for sure. But yeah, I myself am having to like think about exercising more now because I sit on my computer a lot doing the business stuff, so marketing and sales and things like that. So yeah.
And Zoe, what do you
Um,
do to stay in that? What do you do to stay active?
A lot of walking up and down hills. So, a lot of the properties that are out there rurally, it's just a lot of terrain. So it's steep, and you kind of I enjoy it when I've been doing it for a while because you can kind of test yourself on that same hill you have to walk a couple times a day. And I have a 12-year-old little dog, and she'll chase the four-wheeler around, and I'm like, dang, if she can do that, I better start doing that. So you find a lot of inspiration out there just in different ways. We call it Sunrise Mountain Farms partially because you can see the sun rise every morning and it's kind of east facing to an extent. And I have I've lived out there for a little while myself on and off, and you can't help but wake up with the sun and just kind of start your day. And it's a lot easier to be connected to those subtle differences when you have to chop your own firewood because the storm is coming and it's going to rain. And so I enjoy it because it's that kind of connecting back into our roots, and it's easy to ground yourself out. And in that case, I drink a lot of water. That's one of the things that I do way more of there that I feel like just really benefits everything. I'll speak to this because you guys had mentioned this. I absolutely love the fact that there are thicker women in all of the ads, and I absolutely noticed that, growing up in the '90s, it was like, you're supposed to be really skinny, like a, addict looking kind of skinny and show off your Britney Spears abs and stuff, and so it's been rewarding, learning to love myself more, and then, like, when I do drink water and have more energy and my skin looks better, I'm like, "Oh, like, things are great." So I feel like there's a big connectivity between obviously like um kind of that holistic approach of lifestyle, whether it's like, you have to balance all of it. So the choices that you make in food, the choices that you make for your personal kind of like what your R&R is, and also just the little stuff like sleep and water.
All right, Tosh, tell them what you do because I could see you dying just to say something.
No, I had a question about Lauralee. That's how you pronounce her name. Okay, good.
yeah. Yes,
So
Lauralee.
is there a difference, like when you grow the cannabis? Is there more of a benefit for it to be grown up in the mountains than on like lower, like like a lower place? Like the The altitude. There we go. Altitude.
Yeah. Yeah, so the altitude does make a difference. Talk about our terroir, very much like wine, right? So wine has terroir, and in France, there's mountainous regions that grow certain varieties of grapes that do well in those regions. And it's really kind of similar with cannabis too. So we talk about our terroir. We have spring water, and that spring water is, has a certain kind of magnetism to it, has minerals. We don't purify our water, like you filter it. I mean, we filter it, of course, but we don't purify it or so. And then the soil that it's grown in, you know, we do soil building, and so, but it's native soil, and so the elements and the minerals and the bacteria and the microorganisms that are naturally occurring in that region help with the biology of growth with the plant. And then our weather systems affect how the plant kind of finishes and how it grows. And so, where we are located, about 20 miles from the coast in Northern California, it's kind of this diurnal kind of weather. We get like a little bit of ocean influence. So we get like hot, sunny, dry weather in the summertime and, very little rain, no rain really. And then we have a nice breeze that comes in, like an ocean breeze every afternoon that blows that hot air out. And then in the fall, that cooler temperatures increase. And being up in the mountain, that we have cooler temperatures even like at our altitude. So we're at about 2,500 feet. And down in the valley below, they're about 10 degrees warmer down there. So they kind of bake in that heat a little bit more. And that definitely affects the plants and how they grow and their resin production. Also, I've heard it said, I think there was a study done a few years ago. Some researchers were finding that I'm not 100% sure about this, but I did hear some researchers were finding that the higher elevation has higher UV light concentration, and then that was beneficial for the production of resins. And yeah, so there's all these different factors do play a role in the production of like the optimal resin production in a plant. Yeah.
Do you do any like if people want to go visit the farm, are they allowed to look at the premises or see like the process that you guys do? Is that a thing that you guys offer?
We are not allowed in our county. Every county and municipality kind of makes its own regulations and rules with that. And in Humboldt County, there are only certain areas that have wide roads going to them that are, so we are not allowed to have tourism on our farm yet. We're like to say, or like to think that we're working towards that. I know there's other like parks and wineries where people are allowed to visit. So I think, cannabis is this very tentative thing. And so everyone likes to be very careful around it. But we have had, we are allowed to have private guests, and we have we've had national press come up. We did have like a few catered dinners, or catered lunches with about, a grouping of people. And so we do tours with smaller groups of people, manufacturers that we work with, and press and guests, private guests. So, yeah.
Don't worry, Josh, when I move up to the ranch, you're coming.
I'm taking notes, just thinking about the future ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on up. You can come. Yeah.
You know, what I like about the book line, I've been talking to a lot of authors, self-published and through the major corporations, even the toy industry. I started talking to you because I love the atmosphere. I like the fact that it's in my hometown. I love the fact that I grew up in East Lyme, Niantic. I love growing up there. But I really like the aspect of you guys are really, really friendly. That got my attention. And I really like that. Talk about how personable the staff is. You guys are really notable from the tri-state area. People come from other states to go to the book rides.
Oh, I've got a family that comes once a year from Delhi. They come to see people in the States, and they're an American couple, but they come in to pick up books for their kids. But then I get to hear the news about what's going on in India. Or we have people from all over the States and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as far as the staff goes and the whole experience, that's been a lot of emphasis. I've always given a lot of credit to Randy, T. Hagen, who's our manager. The two of them particularly have really set their minds to making the place welcoming. When we interview staff, it's not just, can you put a book away in alphabetical order? It's more like, what are you familiar with? What areas are you most interested in? What are you bringing to the party? And friends of mine whose house I share, I always say to them every once in a while, it's a very strange experience. I like every single person that I work with. From some of my friends who work in a more corporate atmosphere, this is like seen to be almost obscene. This is not fair. So I get to, work with books every day. And when I get bored, I can play with the cats. And then I can have a conversation with people who have actually read books and speak in complete sentences. And as I say, every person coming through has their own story, their own joke to tell, their own questions to ask. Yeah, as I said, the whole conversation is always an ongoing thing.
Now, Howard has not been to Connecticut, and I said, Howard, you have to come visit Connecticut. Nashville is great, but there's something about Connecticut. Green. That's the first thing I've been to 84 cities this year in 14 states. And it was the greenest thing. It was so humid when I was there. I'm like, it's hotter than Tennessee. It's hotter than Texas, California, Nevada. It made absolutely no sense. But it was still green. I said, I'm going to bring the crew here. So, Howard, I'm going to make sure that we get you there with us next year. Because we're going to the book farm, because I want people to see what it's like. And it really is a beautiful place.
What some of the neighborhoods do in Nashville, we have like little mailboxes that you put a book in and you can take a book out at no fee at all. So you just go in your neighborhood, go to that mailbox, switch your book out. So that way you can share your book.
That's been a thing now in a lot of the states, book exchanges, free book exchanges. And of course, people sometimes forget there's an incredible system of free public libraries in our country. That's one of the things. You do not have to go without books if you don't want to. It's terrific. But yeah, I know there's an extensive section all through the New England states. I know the still notion of setting up the free exchanges has been very successful.
And then we can't forget Dolly Parton's books that she gives to everybody born.
I didn't know about this. What's the deal with that? When she has
Dolly
visitors?
Parton gives away anybody having a baby. Dolly Parton gives them children's books for the first year, free of charge.
Oh wow!
Wow,
That's awesome.
In fact, when I was younger, I was talking behind stage with Dolly, and Dolly told me that when her career was over, she was going to write children's books. Well, her career hasn't stopped, but she's managed to be that itch and start that charity group where she gives away free books to all children born.
Wow.
So what makes Howard interesting? So Glenn, L'Oreal, and Zoe, LaJune, what makes Howard interesting is he is kind of, I call him royalty. Not only is he fashionable and stylish, not only can he dance. Howard, talk about the jacket festival that you have, but also let them know, about a little bit of history at the Grand Ole Opry, and obviously he's known Dolly for years. So that's that stuff.
Actually, my dad plays steel guitar for Eddie Arnold, and Colonel Tom Parker was actually his manager. And since the Elvis movie's coming out and everybody's talking about Elvis again, the way that all started was Eddie Arnold got mad at everybody that worked for him except for my father. And in that was Chet Atkins, which became famous. And when he fired Colonel Parker, he gave him $35,000 severance pay. And with that, he bought Elvis's contract. So that's how that started. But as growing up as a child, I got gifts from Elvis every year, and because of Colonel Parker, and my sister did also. But I have none of them. When I went off to college, my mother threw them all away.
Oh God.
Wow, no.
But I did.
I know.
I have a stepfather who actually raised Brenda Lee. Rock around the Christmas tree, Christmas party hop, and he went to Elvis's auction and he bought the nightstands that Elvis had on the bed that had bullet holes in it. I have the only antique that Elvis owned, which is in my garage. It's some kind of pedestal book. I don't know if he got an award on it, but it was from the 1500s. And then he bought yellow and black drapes that were in the bedroom. And I think and maybe a TV set. I'm not quite sure. But I don't know what happened to those things, except for what I have. So, but
Brian, you're on mute.
Howard, talk about the jacket and talk about the pearls.
Talk about the jacket and what else?
Pearls.
The pearls.
Oh, the pearls. I love pearls. Actually, Elvis's manager, Boz, he wears pearls. I saw it on the internet the other day. But it's something I noticed when I was walking the mall that the young kids were doing. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. So I've started owning pearls. I've got quite a bit. So, but
I like it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very sparkly on the top, Howard.
Well, since I got the sparkly jacket, I got the sparkly necklace with it also, and rings and everything else. Look at my jacket has a little sparkle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I didn't even notice it till the other day when I was on a podcast and I held my hand up and it was sparkling. But this is made by Be Unique. I did a fashion show for the Nashville Women in Film here. And she makes custom-made jackets, one of a kind. Because this is all hand-painted. And I asked her to put pearls on it. And I'll stand a little bit. But it's got pearl buttons, double-breasted buttons.
How cool.
So she did it the way I want it. And then the shirt I had, it's just got sparkles on it. So anyway, it's just, I like being stylish. I have all my life. It all started when I was young. My mother gave me 250 pairs of colored socks back in the 60s when everybody wore Levi's and colored socks. And I had that many shirts all my life to go with all those socks. And I've never stopped buying clothes ever. So.
LaJune, let me ask you this. Did you ever have a book signing when your book came out? And if you did,
I went to I was in one of the world's 35 leading interior designers. And then I wrote a Christmas book. I've made a Christmas book that Patricia Hart McMillan made. And I went to Vegas and I signed that when I was an interior designer. So, and then I wrote a book called What Were You Thinking? Recognizing Costly Mistakes That Everybody Makes. So, which, if you're in the design world, Albert Hadley is the father of design. He's out of New York, and if you know who he is, he's very, very big. And before he died, I gave him my book, and he called me on the plane. He said, that book should be taught in every school in the nation. He said it was a fabulous book. And for him to say that from the very, very top, that was a big, big honor for me. So.
Glenn, you look like you had a question, but LaJune, the same thing with you. Glenn, you got something to say?
Oddly enough, at the moment, nope. I will cede the floor to LaJune.
Now you know why I want to bring Howard to Connecticut next June?
I know. Well, as I say, being fashionably, as far as fashion goes, I am probably one of the most hopeless people you will ever meet in your life. So you will come here confident that you will be far better dressed, certainly, than I ever will.
That's all right.
Hey, we got a couple minutes left. LaJune, talk about your book, why people should go and buy it, and why they should support women in general.
The book is life-changing. I talk about dealing with grief, abandonment issues, dealing with molestation, sexual assault, not being heard. And a lot of people suffer from not being heard or some other form of trauma. And it goes through the time periods of me losing my dad. We know, your parents are your first love. That's where you learn love. and how I transitioned to where I am now. So it gives you the beginning, the middle, and the end of the healing process, which I think is important. I've had men who reached out to me, and some of them had suffered from being molested. And they, pretty much said, "Hey, thank you because this saved my life." It's not just catered towards women, it's towards men and women, um, to help in any way possible. So definitely, if you need something to help you change your life and what's going on in your life, please grab the book. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble, Ingram Books, many places that is sold. If you go to my website, you can buy it, and I will autograph it and send it to you.
Talk about your podcast, very important.
So my podcast is LaJune Singleton LLC, fitness, health, mindset, nutrition, and wellness podcast. It talks about health and wellness, fitness, mindset, finances, wealth. Those are the things that, we suffer from, where it is, our money isn't right. It affects our health, our decisions, and things like that. So the podcast episode comes out tomorrow, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely check it out. It's on Mogul TV Global.
Oh yes, we started streaming our stuff on mobile too.
Yes. Yes, so it's on there. And, ladies, if you are looking to become healthier and, mindset, nutrition, and fitness, definitely come over to my website and we can have a 15-minute consultation to see what your goals are and what you're looking to work towards. Because, let's stop making that excuse of what we always do. Oh, I'm going to do it after New Year's. Why put off what you can do now for 2023, where you can look good at the start of 2023 now?
Exactly, and that's why we're booked to the end of January right now. Tosh, you didn't know that, but officially we're booked to January right now. All right, Tosh, tell them who you are, what you've been doing. Talk about Wonderama and that beautiful photo of you at the bachelorette party.
Oh
In the
man. And there's so much things, so many little time. So I'm Natasha Rumbos, but I go as vocally Tosh on our like radio shows. But I'm a urban Latin singer, Latin pop singer. So I sing a lot of Spanish songs. And today I just hit 10,000 streams on Spotify on my latest single, Suéltate, which is my first ever like that I've gotten so many streams. So like LaJune said, I do everything myself. Like I'm my marketing, I'm my advertising, I'm my publicist, I'm everything. So, I understand the struggle of trying to get your product out there and your brand and being consistent with it. And this like 10,000 streams might not mean a lot to like bigger celebrities, but to me, I'm like, yo, I did that. Like I got my songs on like all these like playlists and people are really loving it. So I invite all of you to go listen to it. It's available on all streaming platforms. My latest is Suéltate, and it's a woman empowerment song. It is a Brazilian funk song, so it has a little movement to it, but it's very nice. It has a music video. I got dancers. I'm dancing, so I'm very proud of myself. And as Brian said, I was invited to perform at Times Square about 2 months ago for Wonderama, which was really nice. And it was my first like performance in a huge crowd like that. So that was a little crazy, but honestly, I'm loving the journey, living for it, and just continuing grinding and, creating new music. Yeah, they go to my website, natasharumbosmusic.com, or follow me on my social media. Got all my stuff out there. I am going to, very blessed and grateful with God that I'm going to the Latin Grammy Music Week in November for an artist showcase, to showcase my music. So I'm excited about that. I have a GoFundMe page to help me get there. But, I have a very strong belief that, with the help of, God and everyone who believes in me, I will, be able to get that dream and be singing years from now on my sold out tour. So listen to my music and get some those good vibes going.
All right, Zoe, Talk about Sunrise Mountain real quick and social media links.
So we have an Instagram. It's straightforward. It's just Sunrise Mountain Farms. Our website is similar as well. We actually have a Leafly brand page, which is pretty cool because no matter where you are in the state, you can check out shops that have our products. So that's helpful for me, even as a sales rep. What Lauralee and Dave have been doing is like they've been doing it for quite some time now. So it's a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. And we really have a lot of fun, and everything they do is super passionate. So you can read some of those stories and check out videos that are there. There's just so much more that we have to discover. And so anyone who actually is a cannabis utilizer or cannabinoids of any kind, we need your help. We need your feedback.
All right, Laura, go for it. Go ahead.
All right. Just closing here. Yeah, it's just really exciting to be able to talk about what we do. We are passionate about what we do. And I feel so honored to be growing and manufacturing like some of the highest quality cannabis medicine. And just, I love uh, crossing different strains and making like just really good cultivars that can bring medical benefit to people. And I'm so excited to just keep doing what we do. Yeah, creating good products and flour for people, and then also talking about regenerative farming. We have so much testing that we do that we have like these tangible test results all the time. So we look forward to getting our blog going more and sharing a lot of that information into the future.
All right, Glenn, you get the last word. Go ahead for it quickly.
I want to give a little.
Go for it, Howard.
I want to give a little shout out to my friends. October 8th, I'm going to a movie premiere called Blemish, which is also about empowering women. So if you're in the Nashville area, it's at the Bell Court, and I'll see you there. That's it.
That's good. All right, Glenn, go ahead.
The bookbarn Niantic.com is the website. There's pictures of the place. There's book notes that I write for things that I recommend. October 8th through 16th, we have the annual sale. All books are 30% off. And there's just, the gardens are the prettiest they've ever been this year. So come visit. It'll be wonderful.
All right, thank you, everybody. I'm late on my logging off on everybody, but I really appreciate everybody come on. Don't be afraid to follow everybody. Subscribe to them. Go to the websites, buy their product. Pacifica is one of the best in the world over there. And I say this to everybody. If you see someone out of smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More. And we will see you next